Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reselling Rhythms. If you're new to my channel, my name is Adam, and my channel's name is Adam's Exploits. What I attempt to do is every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, I try to have an experienced seller on, a reseller on, have them discuss what they sell, how they source, their expertise, so to speak. The purpose of my channel is to have other resellers kind of like network and get together and then share their experiences. And especially with things that are going on today, we all know what's going on today. We don't need to talk about it directly, but we will, I'm sure, during the show. It's even more that we reach out through live streams, and especially because reselling can be a lonely business. You're home anyway, listing things, and at least before you used to go out sourcing. Now most of your places that you source out are probably closed, and we're going to get into that as well. So I'm just going to say hello to a few people, and then we'll introduce our guest. I'm sure 99% of you know who he is, but we'll introduce him in one minute here. Say hello to a few people. Craig was here first, Land Shark Picker. Deborah, you're new to my channel. Thank you for joining us. Maggie, always a pleasure to see you. Maggie Doodle. And we'll just give it about another 30 seconds, guys. Let it fill in a little bit. The notice did go out. So I know sometimes the live stream notice takes a little bit to go out. So I'm just going to check my phone to make sure that it did go out. Yeah, it did go out. So it just recently went out. So we should be filling up any second. So again, guys, I'm sure most of you know Wade. Wade will talk about how to find storage auctions, what different websites, the difference between doing it in person, doing it online, what he looks for, and then we're going to do a little bit of demo too. We're going to attempt to do that. Hopefully, we'll be able to figure out how to share his screen, because I've always done it with my screen. He's done his own screen as the host, but he and I have never done it separately to have our guests share. So we'll attempt to do that. Worst comes to worst, I can pull up my screen, and then Wade will just discuss basically what I can type in the information. We'll discuss that. Hey Wes, thanks for joining us, buddy. Yeah, they have been spotty, Craig, but the notice did go out. Hey Jennifer. Hello, Michelle, my super duper moderator. That's the trivia queen. Thanks for joining us, guys. Well, let's get started. I'm sure we'll fill in the next minute or so. I don't like to delay too much, because if I edit at the beginning of the show, then all the comments are going on. I like to have people's comments up, during the replay. So I don't do that. So I don't like to delay too much to the start. So let me get started, and we'll make sure that I unmute Mr. Wade first. And here is Mr. Wade's Venture. Hello, sir.
What's going on, guys? Thanks, Adam, for having me. Welcome, everybody in chat. This is such a fantastic YouTube channel. I've seen Adam grow and do all these interviews. I've tried to be a part of as many as I can. So welcome in, guys. We've got a really cool conversation that we're going to do. And then more importantly, hopefully we can get to some of your zip codes and see if we can pull up some sourcing opportunities for you. But I'm Wade with Wade's Ventures. And man, it's been a crazy experience for me lately. The last couple of years, I'm on social media. I resell on eBay, primarily eBay and Poshmark. I've got about 1,000 items on Poshmark. I don't necessarily sell as much on Amazon, although I should. I need to get back into that. What's going on, Deborah? So we'll do a little synopsis, basically. So I have been reselling for quite a while, part-time. I recently went full-time a couple of years ago. I used to work for T-Mobile. That's why you guys see with the T-Mobile shirts all the time. My job basically with T-Mobile for a lot of years was simply to procure businesses over 1,000 employees and move them over to T-Mobile and then manage those accounts. So I managed accounts like Nike, Columbia was one of my accounts. Some pretty big nonprofits here in Oregon was one of my accounts. I did a couple airlines as well. Sometimes when you go to airlines and you see those tablets back in the day and different screens they had, that was me that set up a lot of that data connection. So there was a lot of cool things that I did for T-Mobile, but it got to a point where after 10 years, I was kind of sitting in a cubicle and realized, I'm making great money. The year I left, it was 182,000 was my last year, my last amount that I made. And I took a pay cut going full time, but the lifestyle was so much more worth it for me. So it got to the point where as I was reselling part-time, the love for that overcome the great paycheck and the experience with T-Mobile over those years. And that's kind of what led me to go full-time. I did do a video. It's a 2 or 3 minute video. You guys can go back to my YouTube channel and see. It was the day that I left T-Mobile and kind of what I was feeling at that time. Because remember, I was there for years and years and years, and I thought I would retire there. So it was just a really unique experience. And social media has gave me the opportunity to open so many doors, not just with reselling, but also like with the community on Instagram, YouTube, and other areas like Facebook. It's pretty incredible. And so that's kind of how it bloomed. Left T-Mobile, went full time as an eBay reseller. And now I've been doing that. You guys can see in the back there, I just picked up a really massive 3 10 by 10 storage units. And I've got a lot. I wish I could bring the camera and show you. It's pretty crazy. But now I sell full time on eBay. And I've got 3 accounts, actually 4 accounts, but 3 accounts, 2 that are public, 2 that are not. And that's kind of the game plan here, guys. So as we go on today, if you have any questions, I'm sure Adam is way more fluent in a lot of that stuff since he's doing all these interviews. But if you have any questions, let me know in chat and I can go ahead and answer those. But primarily what I do is I like to go to thrift stores like you guys. I do wholesale. I've tried virtually everything. I'm very flighty. One moment I'll do something and then the next moment I'll do another because I like to gain that experience. So I've done wholesale, thrift stores. I still do that, of course. Storage units is what I'm kind of known for. I've been doing that for years and years and years, even before YouTube. And you know, primary things like that. I've done government auctions as well, regular auctions. So there's just a really cool amount of things that I've been doing over the last few years. And it all resolves around the availability to hang out with my kids and family and to be able to provide for them, but also be flexible with my schedule and kind of build my dream and not somebody else's. So that's my elevator speech, guys. Welcome in. And hopefully we have a great show for you today.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you a couple quick questions. And again, I'll go back and watch that video. But I mean, what was the tipping point? I mean, obviously, I'd say 99% of us here didn't have the kind of package you had. I'm sure you had a company car, an expense account, and plus the commission and salary, yada yada yada. So we're talking 200K plus, I'm assuming. So what was the tipping point? I mean, again, I know you want to spend time with your family, but what was the tipping point? What was like the ultimate straw that, I'm not going to say straw that broke the camel's back, but what led to your decision?
It's hard to explain. So yeah, I had the company car. I've had the corporate card where I, took corporate, clients out, and then also Ashley and my family on dinners. And I had the 401k, and I was a salary employee. I didn't work out of a T-Mobile store. We worked out of an admin office. That's how I met my wife. She works for Nike. That was one account that I managed. And so that's kind of really what happened was, and I can't tell you the exact moment, but I can tell you it led up to a lot. I just remember sitting in the cubicle one day and I got this nasty email and just the corporate, hierarchy of things. I just got this nasty email. I was reading it. And then that day I called Ashley and said, I may be considering going full time. And it was a really sporadic phone call. It wasn't like I really thought about it. It was just, I got this nasty email. I stepped out. Our office was on the water, so it's a beautiful area. I walked around kind of thinking, okay, is this for me? Yes, the money's great. And believe me, my lifestyle before that was pretty crazy. Buy anything you want, do anything you want. I mean, I bought my house brand new in 2014. Just different things, right? And but it come down to the way that they were changing things was not the way that, I used to be where I can work from anywhere, right? And then they wanted people in the office, and it just wasn't for me. The lifestyle change that the corporate structure was wanting to do just wasn't for me. And had I not done reselling, I would have continued and probably still be working there to this day. But as I got a taste of the freedom of this other side, it makes you realize that there are possibly better things. And when I say pay cut, yes, I did take a pay cut originally, but you can get to the pay that I was making with hard work doing this. And so I knew it would be a little bit of a life-changing situation at the very beginning aspects of it, but then after that, things would get better and I would make good money. So I couldn't tell you the exact moment, Adam, but I can tell you that it was a combination of just, I think once I got that nasty email, I didn't quit that day or that week. I quit 6 months later. So it's very important for you guys watching. Just because you're in a weird situation now, you still need to put all your eggs and make sure you diversify and get the reselling to where it needs to be. and understand your finances and how much you need to make and get everything you need before you quit, because you always want to hold on to that job until you're ready to take that leap. Too many people do it early. They stumble and they fall, and then they're back to a 9-to-5. So it was 6 months after I received that email and made that phone call that I quit. So it's very important that you understand your personal finances, your possible business finances, and what's it going to cost for you to live on your own doing this reselling thing, and then take the leap at that point. And so that's what happened, Adam. About 6 months later.
Well, that's kind of like you need an exit plan, and like you were saying, and I see that all the time for following the various resellers and reselling shows and Facebook groups. That happens quite a bit. People, I mean, I guess I don't know how you did it, but I mean, I don't know, maybe if you cut back your lifestyle a little bit and became more stringent about savings and trying to put stuff away and say, well, I don't really need to go out to this 4-star restaurant. Maybe we'll just do cook at home tonight or something. Yeah. And stockpile that money and build that up, so you kind of have like a whatever 2-month, 3-month, whatever cushion, so to speak. Yeah. And again, you already knew about reselling, so you were doing it before. Yes. That's the other thing. And again, guys, I'm going to call his mother Mama Ventures. I don't like calling her Grandma Ventures because I'm close to his mother's age. So I call her Mama Ventures, Denise. So we met in Vegas a couple years ago. Did Mama Ventures have anything to do with your reselling career? Was she into thrifting or into going to yard sales or swap meets? What you guys call them out there, I'm assuming?
No, I brought her into it with the storage units. She's always been a free spirit. She's just a free spirit person. And she loves going through storage units. And for those that don't know, my dad passed away when I was 4, and we have a very small family, and she's the last parent that I have. And so I've got her, my brother, and one more brother, and that's pretty much it. Right. So it's really important to me that, and that's the reason we started, doing a lot of the social media, is because I wanted to document my family and me. God forbid something happens to me tomorrow, I want my family to go back and be able to see their dad on the screen. Right. So there's a lot of reasons why you want to do social media, and that was a big driver for me. But in regards to her, she just loves going through boxes, and
she loves the treasure hunt.
Yeah, and now she's got 1,200 items on Poshmark.
1,200 items on Poshmark.
Yeah, wow,
just for her.
Just her Poshmark, right? So, she enjoys that, and I think that it's so funny to me that, you have friends, you have family, especially mom and dads. This is a prime example of they can be successful at reselling, not knowing anything. She didn't know anything about Poshmark, and now she's got a crazy Poshmark and, 40,000 people following her. So, right.
40,000 people.
Yeah. So you guys can Google search Grandma Ventures. She's under there. And
I'll add her store to the description. I put a bunch of stuff in your social media. I'll add it after the video. I'll put it in the description below.
Yeah. So just
that's great.
Yeah. I mean,
now, were you like some of the other like resellers? Were you like buying candy and bringing it into school and selling in school, or were you trading cards in school? How did you get in all of this?
I used to play Pokemon back in the day and Magic, but this was junior high, right? Right. Reselling for me, it started about 4 or 5 years prior to me going on YouTube, and it started from storage units. Okay. So I was buying these storage units, and I was watching the show, of course, and it got me interested. I'm a treasure hunter at heart, and I was doing a part-time buying storage units, and that's what got me into reselling. Because at the time I was like, how am I going to get rid of this stuff I'm getting? I'm accumulating a lot of stuff. And then your natural instinct is to search ways to sell. And that's how I started selling online. It was about 6 to 7 years before I started YouTube. It was when I was reselling. So it got to the point where I got to get rid of this stuff. How do I do that? eBay was the first, example.
First platform you sold on.
Yeah. And that's why I have 4 accounts, because I remember 6 years I was doing storage units. And then just recently I started YouTube. And then you want to make sure that all your names are the same on eBay if you want to be transparent.
That's a great social media tip. Yep.
Yeah. You want to make sure your names are all the same. Your icons are all the same. You want people to flow from one to the other and know that it's you as you build your brand. And for me, that's why I started a new eBay, Wade's Ventures. I actually have 2 of them, one without the S and one with the S, and then Instagram, YouTube, and all the different platforms.
Just let me interrupt you 1 second so I don't forget, because I'm a little bit older than you. I forget these things sometimes. Yeah. I have a question, and I know a little bit more about your background. I know you like you said, you originally started with the storage auctions, but for a while there, you were going to the thrift stores and selling used clothes and all different kind of things. Carol wants to know what kind of things do you sell? And do you buy storage units? So it's kind of a mix of things now with the storage units, because it's kind of like potluck. Whatever comes to storage, that's what you're going to sell.
Yeah. Wow. I'm trying to think if I can join Adam. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm wondering if I can join on my phone and I can show them.
You can, I think. I'm pretty sure you can. I don't know if you have to use a separate account, though. You may have to use a separate account.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, I sell.
If you want, I can put the link and you can join. Do you have another Gmail account?
Yeah, actually.
You want to put the link? I can put the link in the chat. I don't even have to. Oh, you want me to send it to your phone?
Well, let me try this link with just this, and then
okay, cool. I've seen people do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, I sell everything. It used to be where I was big into Nike. I sold a lot of high-end Nike, and I still do. Remember, I'm in Beaverton, Oregon, so I'm a stone away from their headquarters, right? We're in a really unique area in Oregon because we've got Nike, we've got the Columbia employee store, we've got the Adidas, we've got everything here, so it's really cool. But I sell everything, guys. So I sell fashion. I have a really unique process to list fashion because I want to do it where I don't have to hire an employee. I've had full-time employees and they're great, but it does require a lot of work, a lot of training. So what I do for fashion, anything fashion, is I'll basically use Sellhound and I'll contact them and say, hey, I need 1,000 credits. They'll sometimes give me a discount deal when you buy a lot.
And well, really? That's a great tip.
Yeah. And then what I'll do basically is I will take the photos, have Sellhound list the item, and then they do everything, description, drop downs, all that, right? Beautiful process, in fact. And I've noticed that my sell-through rate on fashion is a lot higher using them because they have trained employees that know the different.
When you factor in the cost of using that, it's worth your effort and the cost.
Yeah, that saves so much time.
It probably saves a lot of time as well, obviously.
That's the point, right? You want to get the process automated as best as you can, so you don't have to hire employees.
That's the kind of system.
Yeah. So
I bring up a lot of different resellers that I've followed over the years, and one is Prof Sales Jason, and he used to always talk about the value of your time, or VOT.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously your value was time is more valuable doing sourcing or buying storage auctions as opposed to physically listing things.
Yeah. I go a million miles a minute, Adam. I'm always doing something, right? Whether it's, my wholesale business, social media is a part-time job. I don't care who you talk to.
That's a lot of time, exactly. And then you edit your videos, which takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, Ashley does some of the editing.
Ashley's doing the editing. That's right. She does the editing, right?
But, they're still filming in that process. And I've got, the course I started. And on top of that, I've got, the storage units, which take a tremendous amount of time. So there's a lot of things I had to do, and you really need to automate the process. And one thing that you can do is use Sellhound to list the item and then use List Perfectly to transfer it from multiple platforms. And so pretty much automated the process.
The other thing, it lists perfectly, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys are high, again, and I'm not affiliated with List Perfectly, I don't have an affiliate link. I'm assuming you do. Great company. And again, it can be a little costly, but if you're doing any kind of volume, it saves a lot of time, guys.
Yeah. It's only, I could be wrong, but I only paid $29 a month. That's it for me. And all I use it for is the cross-posting purposes. So
right.
if the good Lord came down and was like, Wade, you can only use one program, one service, it would be List Perfectly, and I would manually do my taxes. That's how much I love them.
Wow. Okay.
But that being said,
before I forget to ask you, and I didn't write this down again, sometimes things pop in my head. Do you use QuickBooks? What do you use for your taxes?
Yeah, I know Casey does QuickBooks, and I like how he does it. I use actually GoDaddy. I believe
that was the other one. A lot of researchers GoDaddy.
Yeah. It automates things for me. Again, it all comes down to, like, when you're a business owner, you wear multiple hats. You're the finance person, you're the procurer person, you're whatever, right? So GoDaddy will auto sync most everything.
That's the key too, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's it all comes down to.
Well, you got the ultimate comment. Jason Thrift Trader says you're a horse.
Jason's a dear friend of mine.
Jason obviously is doing. Jason, I had Jason. God, in the very beginning when I started my show, I had Jason on, and now he's really into the storage auctions. And I've been watching some of his. He's doing YouTube auctions now as well.
Yeah.
And he has Mrs. Hot Sauce with him doing the auctions. I calls his wife Hot Sauce.
Jason is amazing. I got him into storage. We did a I can't remember. We were on a pier one day, and I pulled up his zip code, and that's it. He went and bought a storage unit. It was pretty incredible. But yeah, he's doing, and that's just the way you can make money everywhere, right? You can do storage units, wholesale, thrifting. Of course, a lot of that now is kind of stumped with what's going on, but there's a lot of ways you can make money nowadays. So,
well, that's the other thing too. And I was going to get into that. I think I said, well, eventually, guys, we'll get into like the websites. That did you want to try to bring that up on your phone, or did you? What you want to do?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I completely forgot.
That's fine. Yeah, guys, we're going to get a little bit into it. Maybe a few of you can, punch in your local zip codes or whatever. I have a bunch of different sites that I'm familiar with, but again, I know 1/1000th of what Wade knows. So I tell people something like with Amazon, I know enough to be dangerous. That's about it.
Yeah, the thing is with when it comes to storage unit buying is there's different companies that you'll use based on where you're located in the United States, right? So Locker Fox is a really cool site to use. The problem though is a lot of Locker Fox is not on the West Coast.
That's regional, right?
Yeah, well, it just depends on they're growing.
On the West Coast.
Yeah, so they're East Coast, kind of that area.
Okay.
West. Storage Treasures is kind of everywhere that you can find them in Florida, Oregon, California. They're probably the most popular. And then you've got sites like Bid13, which is kind of a dark horse site. A lot of people don't know about that, but you can find really good, cheap deals there.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What was the last one?
Yeah. Bid13. It's
Bid13. I heard of that just recently. I never heard of that before.
Yeah, a lot of people don't use that site. A lot of people don't know about it. So you can kind of snipe auctions really affordable on that site. So do you have more than one YouTube channel? That's a great question. I have 3 YouTube channels actually. And
you have 2 or 3 different Instagram accounts too, right?
I only have one Instagram. Well, I have 2.
You have 2, right? One like
wholesale.
That fan one isn't you. That's just somebody trying to play off your popularity, right?
Which one?
It says Wade's Ventures Fan Club or something.
Oh no, I promise you.
You're not familiar with that?
I promise you that's not me. Yeah, that was funny. The day that came out, I was texting Ryan with Rally Roots, and I texted Casey and a few other people, Side Hustle Network, and they all had a laugh about that. No, that's not my account. I promise you. But I have Wade's Ventures. I have Wade's Ventures Wholesale, where I sell wholesale boxes to the community. We did a Lululemon a week ago, Patagonia, North Face. Then we do Nike, vintage Nike, Adidas, all kinds of stuff. So I've got those 2. And then when it comes to YouTube, I've got Wade's Ventures. And then I have Venture Kids, which is my kids. They started a YouTube channel.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then Mom started a YouTube channel. She's got 500 followers, but no videos.
Hi, Crystal.
So
okay. So could you just, again, obviously you're the pro. Great tips you had, but the Locker Fox, not on the West Coast. You said Storage Treasures is probably one of the better ones, I guess, for nationwide.
Yeah.
So what about storageauctions.com?
Storageauctions.com is a decent one too. I don't use them often because they're not in Oregon. I think I got this working actually. Let me see.
Great.
Okay. I'll do Wade's Ventures.
Look at some of my question here. And again, guys, let me bring that up. I made notes prior. Okay. Device is not connected. Let's see.
Let me turn the volume down here. There we go. All right. Oh, still echoey.
Bravo.
Let me see if it gets less echoey. Okay, let me show you guys. You guys see?
Yeah. Let me highlight you on that feed. There we go.
Okay. Let me see which way's better.
There you go. Like just like that.
Okay. You guys can. Oh no, you can only see me. Let me flip it here. There we go.
That's a lot of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Good thing you're not using that, working out of your house anymore. Well, I'm sure you work out of your house, but not store things in your house.
Yeah, let me go over here.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah. So, and then I have up there, guys. That's where I put my above there. That's where I put my eBay stuff. and eBay stuff up there. I'll show you up top here. So you have, oh, the light is really bright here. So that's,
I would have no idea where even to start with all that. I thought I had death piles.
Oh, I can flip it. Okay, there we go. Hold 1 second, Adam. All right, there we go. Okay, that's better.
Yep.
So you guys can see this is the recent storage unit that I picked up right here. So basically what I'll do is I know it looks like chaos, but I'll go through all this, I'll list it. And then I've got a lot of stuff that I will eventually put up here for online, which is up top here. And then I've got a bunch of bins all across there that will also hold eBay inventory. So basically this is the warehouse that I have here, and we'll put everything over here, temporarily. And then this is a company hole I normally use, but I had to use that. I just picked up the storage unit 2 days ago, guys. So I'll list everything when it comes to fashion, and then the hard goods over there, and then my shipping center over here. Here, let me go over here and I'll show you.
I try to keep this channel G, guys. I apologize for a little bit of nudity in here.
So this is the shipping center here, and I'll ship everything over here. So yeah, it's controlled chaos, guys. But
okay, I'll take your word for it.
I made about 30,000 on this unit, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it's pretty incredible.
That's insane. Oops, we lose them.
Oh, I'm here.
You're back. Okay. There we go.
All right.
So, okay, let me make some other notes. Oh, again, we're talking about sourcing and death piles, and most of our thrift stores are closed. Most of them are under state order to be closed because obviously thrift stores are not non-essential businesses. Quite a few of the channels are doing their storage auction buyers, and they're liquidating a lot of their goods through YouTube auctions. So that's another opportunity. I know, Wade, you've been on Donatello's channel, Donatello Bonolino. There's about 8 or 10 different other channels that, do these storage auctions. So guys, if you're interested, there's quite a few people that are having these YouTube auctions. And again, guys, know your prices. You can actually research. I have a tab up on top of my computer with eBay. So I'll look something up, and they'll bring something up. It's like, that seems kind of pricey. Let me check the solds on it. And I check the solds, and if there's not enough meat on the bone, I don't buy it. For a while there, and some of the channels, they have great buys. Some of the channels, not so great buys. Some of the channels, you got to kind of know your niche, and sometimes you can get a deal. But again, guys, that's a great opportunity to sourcing. If it's stay-at-home order, source online.
Yeah, when it comes to auctions, the reason that you're finding a lot of storage unit buyers do auctions is because when you buy a storage unit, guys, you get sheer volume. You just saw what I picked up. That was only 3 units, and it filled up my whole warehouse. So you get so much stuff. It's a little different than going to a thrift store and picking up 1 or 2 items and then auctioning those off. I think you can do that, but the appeal to storage units is you just get so much stuff that auctions are super easy because you just have a lot of inventory that you can auction off to people. And sometimes too, it all comes down to time. Jason, for example, does his auctions, right? And Donatella, and they get so much stuff that they could list it. They could make probably good money with that. But at the time it takes to list all that, it's really intensive. So it's easier to do an auction, get rid of a bunch of inventory, recoup some capital that way than it would to spend time and do list every single item that you get out of a storage unit. So
it's the old saying, a quick nickel or a slow dime, and again, value of time. I keep coming back to the same sayings, but it's true. Your time is more valuable doing other things than going through all these little pittance things. You're going to make $2, $3, $4, $5, and by the time you list it, it's not worth listing. So you can sell it in bulk, sell it in bundles, whatever. Yeah, that was one of my questions I had down for you, as far as obviously you try to probably stay away from units that have mattresses and that type of thing in them. As far as dumping fees and stuff, I'm sure that gets prohibitive, right? I mean, I guess it varies throughout the country as far as the fees.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways, a lot of fees when it comes to storage units. People don't realize until they get into it. Trash dumping is one of them. A lot of people, though, different types of the country, different parts of the country do different things. So some people have land and they can burn a lot of that on their land, right? Some people are in the city and they have to utilize dumps. A lot of people, they can donate to nonprofits and different places like that and alleviate some of that money that they would have spent dumping. Because guys, you're going to get trash. You get people when they see videos and like, you can give that away. You can give that away. You can do this. The problem though is how much time do you have? I'm one person. Do I have time to go to 5 or 6 different places to donate 5 or 6 different loads? Or does it make more sense to pay a little bit of money and dump it? So there's
value of your time.
There's
worth money.
Balancing act there, guys. So exactly. A lot of people, if you have a little time, there's a lot of schools, right? A lot of schools take milk jugs and weird things that you find in their science centers, right?
That's I even thought of. You can donate to. Well, obviously now it's different, but you can donate to your local school systems.
Yeah. So, but dump fees are a big portion of that. Then you've got your truck rental fees. A lot of people have to rent trucks or vans.
Like you have your own not flatbed. We call it the box truck.
Yeah. Yep. I got that. That was one thing that you kind of work towards as you buy storage units and you realize that this is something you will do for the long haul. You can invest in box trucks, and a lot of people will utilize Penske or U-Haul retired trucks. You know, they maintenance. Yeah.
Maybe people buy these at night auctions from wherever, Penske or U-Haul, and then they fix them up and they resell them.
Yeah. Well, Penske themselves or U-Haul themselves.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, sometimes I'm not mechanical. So somebody again, and again, guys, I'll have the link later. I wanted to talk to Wade. I didn't have a chance to talk to him, but he does have the storage auction buying course. We'll discuss that a little bit towards the end, and I'll put a link in the description down below. Before I forget, are you still offering your special with that, or is that?
So I was gonna put it back to normal, but with the virus situation, I felt it prudent to keep it the same price. So $34, guys. You get 136 videos, and I think we're uploading a few more today or tomorrow. So once you pay the $34 for the lifetime, everything that I add there, you'll get it for free. Any other new videos. But it goes through taxes from a licensed CPA, not your dad's CPA, did 6 videos. I talk about social media, how to buy storage units, where to sell storage units, antique booths. If you want to sell out of antique booths, I talk about that. Consignment stores, furniture stores, the list goes on. So if you want to learn about all that, it's all in there.
And the other thing that's great, guys, if you want to get involved or you're already involved with storage auctions, what you do is you make your own little video of that, and Wade's going to promote your video on his channel. Yeah.
So social media is a big piece. If I, knock on wood, if something happened to me today and people look back at Wade's Ventures, what are they gonna say? And I want them to say that I wanted to help people out with social media. Like that was my intent when I did all those interviews, was to help people with social media. I did over 100 interviews. It's still on my YouTube channel. People that had less than 200 subscribers on YouTube at the time. And the reason I did that was I wanted to help people grow their channels. And so that's one reason that I want to do this is if you buy the course and you learn storage units and you buy your first storage unit, no matter if you're a thrifter, a junker, whatever you do, as long as it's a storage unit video, I'll put it on my YouTube channel, just like I would upload a video of my own, completely free, and in hopes that people that are subscribed to me will fall in love with you and go subscribe to your YouTube channel. So there's
a way kind of sharing the love, so to speak, and trying to help other people grow their YouTube channel. That's great. I mean, a lot of big time sellers will not do that. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I'll give you 2 thumbs up.
Thank you, Adam.
Okay. And let me just go through a few of my questions, and I guess we'll try to get into this. We're just around half an hour now. We'll try to get into what you look for. Oh, that's the other thing before I forget to ask you. I asked you before, and I don't think we kind of got sidetracked. Do you profile units when you're going in person auctions? Do you research the owners of the units?
So it depends. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I find that 9 times out of 10, it does not help you.
Okay.
The situations are so, they could have been a doctor and made a ton of money, but throughout that process, as they lost the unit, so many different things happened that even if you did the research and found out they were a doctor, a lot of times it doesn't translate into knowing anything else. The way that I find is better. That's a better way. Is you contact the facility, you build a relationship with the person that actually physically talks to the person that owns the unit. Mm-hmm. They know more now what's happening, not what happened in the past.
Right.
You gain more information that way. So as opposed to me searching their name and finding, John was he was a doctor. Maybe he has medical supplies, or typically they have a lot more expendable income.
Or art, or yeah.
But there were so many layers.
Clothing.
Yeah, there were so many layers from him being at the top to where he is now, that if I just would have contacted the facility, I would have got the new recent news, and I would have gained more information. And that comes over time as you talk to the facility staff. They'll divulge more information before the auction ends.
That was my other question. I actually had that written down. I'm glad you brought that up. As far as a new buyer or storage units, would it pay you to physically go, even when you're not having an auction, just go to like a storage unit? Maybe there's like 12 or 15 units you're going to be, frequently to do your purchasing. Would it pay you to go in and introduce yourself and say, this is what I do. I just want to introduce myself. Maybe drop off a business card. Is that worth your time?
Yeah, you could. Like you're saying, go to the facilities and just introduce yourself to the staff.
Yeah, and say, who handles the. Can you say like who handles the delinquencies? Can you say that? Is that proper?
Yeah, it just depends, right? Some facilities are online. Some facilities use an auctioneer. Some facilities will actually use like the director,
the person that handles like collections, so to speak.
Yeah,
somebody falls behind on their rent.
I think the way that you build that relationship is you actually go to the auctions even before you talk with them, buy the unit, and then start that way, right?
Gotcha.
But it wouldn't hurt, Adam. It wouldn't hurt to talk with them. Maybe you'll get information.
Sometimes you got to think outside the box. And again, you're the expert. I'm spitballing here.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it wouldn't hurt, but a lot of times you'll find 9 times out of 10 the people that you run into at the facilities don't know as much. Or they won't divulge that information until they get to know you. A lot of times they're hesitant to give, one of the questions I ask Adam is, how long have they been at the facility, right? This is a really important question.
That's a great question. Okay.
It's because what happens is a lot of these facilities will give a month free.
Sure.
And I don't personally want to buy somebody's stuff that puts all their stuff in there and then goes delinquent the month after their month is free because they don't have any skin in the game. I want people that have been paying their rent for years and years and years, people that have, investments in the stuff that they have in the units. I want to see that, right? Because a lot of times too, you'll find that people are in a tough position, no faults of their own, and they'll try to sell their stuff. And then if they can't, they'll put it in storage and it goes delinquent.
I was going to actually bring that up.
Yeah.
Again, I don't, you're a storage auction guy. I want to bring up other channels, but one of the other channels, he kind of mentioned something to me was like a little taboo.
Yeah.
The guys, there's going to be a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of these college students, they just said, hey, get out. Now, great. I don't know how much value there's going to be in college students' facility. Yeah. Whatever. Let's say somebody loses their job.
Yeah.
Or both parents lose their job. Both, they have to downsize. Maybe they rent an apartment. They have this big, huge house. They put all this stuff in storage, and then they can't afford the rent.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of sad, but unfortunately, that's life.
It is really sad. I get this all the time. You're taking people's stuff. You're taking people's belongings. Okay. Would you rather go into a dump or landfill? Because that's what would happen, right? Sure. Also, too, some cases it's good. And I'll tell you why. And I know this is going to sound crazy. When you are in trouble with your unit and you're in that much debt in your unit and they're going to auction it off, it's stress on your body knowing you're going to lose that stuff. And I have talked to people in the past who have lost their units. After they lose their unit, they can almost feel a little bit of sigh of relief. Yes, they lost their stuff, but it's another bill they're not.
That is clear, right? Well, not technically not clear, but they don't.
Most of the time,
work, by the way.
Most of the time,
they turn it over to credit collection agencies.
Sorry, say that again, Adam.
If they have that debt on that unit, say they owe $3,000-$4,000. I guess they turn it over to collection agencies, right?
Well, some states no. So just really depends. Okay. So long story short, let's say that the facility is owed $300. That's with the debt they're owed, with any admin fees and anything else, right?
Right.
And the auction goes to $700 or $800. Typically, they're supposed to cut a check, the difference to the person who lost the unit.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that. So if I buy a unit and I bid $1,000 and they only owe $500, they're actually, yes, they're losing their stuff, but they're going to get that extra $500 back. Now, if a lot of times they move, something happens, death in the family. If that's the case, then it goes back to the state in some states. So if they can't cut the check to the individual, the state will receive that money.
And now Cleopatra says in Florida it goes on your credit. Okay. Oh, yeah. Again, that's why I wait on. I don't know all these little intricacies of the storage auction business.
It's different state by state, but some people, they don't owe credit. You know, for example, not everybody who loses their unit is in debt with credit, right? They don't have,
right.
You know, so like you get a lot of people that, you know, are elderly, they pass away and they have really great credit, you know,
and maybe the kids don't even know that they have a storage unit.
It happens all the time, and those are the best ones, unfortunately. Right. You know.
Well, why don't you just discuss slightly, I guess, the difference between in-person auctions and online auctions, and then I'm pretty sure we can figure out how to share your screen, and we'll try to get into that and try a little bit because again, I'm respecting your time, talking about value of time before. So why don't we just discuss the difference between in-person and online auctions? You know, what you look for, what's the difference, and then we'll just pull up a few zip codes and you'll show how you do things.
Yeah. So
I'm going to put you on main screen here.
Yeah. On the big screen.
On the big screen.
Okay. So basically, there's a lot of pros and cons to both live and online, right? And it really depends on if you're a veteran buyer or if you're a new buyer. That's where my opinion comes in. I did a lot of videos on this, right? So live auctions is my favorite. I'll never get that out of I love the thrill of live auctions, right? You're in there, you're bidding against somebody that's at least six feet away, right?
Right.
And
these days.
Yes, and you're getting that, you know, the juice is flowing there. I love the adrenaline that you get. I love live auctions, but it can also be a detriment to people that are new because they get intimidated. They do one of two things. They don't buy a unit because they're intimidated. Because when you first get to a storage auction, you're new. You are timid, right? It's something new. On top of that, people don't like confrontation, and you're going to find a little bit of that at live auctions. So that being said, I almost recommend people do online auctions, where yes, typically you pay more money for online auctions, but there's not that intimidation factor. And a lot of times too, when you're new and you're at live auctions in person, you tend to spend more money too because the locals know they can bid you up.
I was going to ask that. The locals could drop it on you too. They bid you up, and then if you're new, you don't know better. You say, "Oh, that must be a good unit." Then you get caught up in the frenzy, right?
Yes. And they don't want you there. I don't care who you talk to, what storage unit buyer you talk to. People that are there that have been doing it for years.
The regulars in that particular location, right?
Yes, they do not
they don't like newbies.
No, because why?
If you're not newbie, if you're experienced and you're just new to that particular facility.
Well, even then, but you know, at that time, if you're experienced, you kind of know how the game is played, and what plays in that portion of it is you know how much you want to spend because you've been doing it for a while. You know what values in the unit, what you can see. You only bid on what you can see, right? That's your budget.
That's the other thing. That's one of the key tips, right?
Yeah.
So the philosophy is you find one or two items that you figure you can make your full profit from your bidding, and that's kind of how you go about it typically.
Yeah. You see, okay, you everything in boxes. There's two options for me. I'll look at everything in front of the auction. I'll be like, okay, I can see that. I can see that. I know this goes for this, and then in your mind you have a budget. And then sometimes there's units that are just full of boxes, and you get an idea of how much you want to spend based on how many boxes are there. So if there's 20 boxes there, and I'm only willing to go, $50 a box or $30 a box, I'll calculate that and use that as the amount that I will spend. So if you can't necessarily calculate the value, you can always do it by box or by tote. That's another option, right? So likelihood of you losing money on storage units is really low because you're getting sheer volume, guys. You spend $200, but you get a full storage unit. It's really hard not to find a lot more profit than what you spent. Where it gets tricky, though, is the time it takes, the organization, the dump fees, the truck fees, that stuff that you need to mitigate.
And if you have labor, if you have to pay labor to help you get through.
Yeah, labor. You shouldn't have to, though. I think people, look at Donatella, right? She's out there doing storage units. And I don't think you should. If you have to pay for labor, this may not be a game for you because it will add up quickly. The only way I would say pay for labor is if you buy 4 or 5 units, and even somebody like me
buying them all out in one day.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, go ahead. The question about are you nervous now with everything going on about buying storage units?
That's a great question. And you get, by the way, I noticed your name. You get a lot of the clothing and storage units. I truly believe that you can make a living just selling clothes out of storage units, whether you're listing it yourself or you're wholesaling it out to your group. But No, I'm not nervous because remember, I'm only doing online auctions right now. I'm not doing live. So I bid, I win, I go to the facility, I see one person and one person only. I pay them, I get access to my unit, grab the stuff, and I'm out of there. It's the only way right now, pretty much, in my opinion, other than maybe wholesale, that you do not have to talk to really anybody and you can pick up a massive amount of quantity and to list right now. So the only caveat to that, though, is there's shutdowns right now, obviously, and some facilities are not open. Some places they're canceling auctions online, and some places you can bid and win it, but they won't allow you to pick it up until April. So you've got to understand the back end of that based on your state and your situation. But if you buy something on Storage Treasures, you win the bid, you pick it up today, you see one person, make sure you practice social distancing, you pick up your stuff, and you're done. So it's the one way that you can buy sheer volume for eBay without being in contact with a lot of people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, let's, guys, what I want to do now is kind of open up a little bit the questions. So what we'll have Wade is pull up, we'll have Wade share a screen, and we'll do basically what he does on his show. Try to teach you guys a little bit about, going online and looking at storage auctions. So while he's pulling up his channel, and then he'll click on his share screen and I'll permit it. I'm pretty sure that's how you do it.
Yeah.
If you want to ask a few questions in the meantime in the chat, so we'll have them towards the end. We can answer those questions. So when you want to just pull up a website, whatever you're more comfortable with, and okay, there we go. Perfect.
You see it? Okay, cool.
Sir.
I forgot the zip code. Let me give me 1 second here.
Don't even need you on screen. We'll just pull the full screen up.
Okay, cool. Let me
get rid of Kimmy's comments so they won't hide.
Okay.
How do I get rid of that hide? There we go. I don't want that either, that banner either. Let me get rid of that banner.
Let me pull it up on your
there we go.
On YouTube so I can see the people talking here.
Perfect.
1 second, Adam. Okay, here we go. All right. So I want to give a shout out to Kimmy. She said she can do storage units with a pacemaker. That lady is amazing. And really love Kimmy.
She sings really well too. She sings Smelly Cat and Let It Be, and she's a very talented woman.
She's got a very, very smart daughter too. So
yeah, she does.
Shout out to Kimmy. All right. So do you guys have any zip codes?
You guys want to put a few zip codes in the chat and wait to pull them up and show you guys how to look for things? I mean, we could do Beverly Hills 90210. That's what I always use when I tell people, like new sellers. That's what I use when I'm figuring out my shipping.
Yeah,
I'm on the East Coast. I figure that's Beverly Hills. That's West Coast. So that's in my mind. 90210 from the TV show back in the day.
Yeah,
that's what I use. Let's try. You want to try crystals?
Yeah, I just pulled up the first one. We'll do a few
cool.
here. So guys, when you're new, I always do 50 miles or under because we don't want.
Now you're on storage treasures right now?
Yeah, we'll do storage treasures because I think it's the most common. And they'll probably have the most action.
Okay.
Let's see. Whose zip code is this, by the way? Let's see. This was Difference Clothing. Okay, great.
Boy, okay.
So remember, when you're looking at the units, I don't look at
up in North Jersey. She's in the
line,
so to speak.
You're in the thick of things, so I don't know necessarily. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a great way to buy units, but I'd be a little careful, of course. One thing that you got to understand is a lot of times if it's 5 days out, I keep an eyeball on it, but I don't necessarily count my chickens because a lot of times the person that owns the unit will pay their bill before you get to the facility and then they'll cancel the auction. It's not like live where when you bid, you win it there and you're done. These people have time to pay their bill. They have 5 days and 22 hours. And if they pay their bill, then you're SOL. So keep an eye out, but anything 5 days or under, I'll look at. Anything 5 days or over, I will not, if that makes sense. Because
I didn't realize that was even a filter. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll pay their bill before then, right? So basically pull up your zip code, do 50 miles. You can do more than that, but I'd recommend 50 if you're new because you don't want to travel too long, especially if it's a bad unit. A lot of times people will buy units, they'll have a bad experience and they'll never go back. So you got to put yourself in the best position to have a really good experience so you continue because it's a numbers game, guys, with storage units. All right, so we pulled up the zip code here. I like to look at basically what's the most expensive units going up first just to see what people are bidding on, not necessarily thinking that these other ones are bad, but I like to look at the most expensive ones first just to see what they're interested in. One thing too, guys, is remember, you're at the mercy of the facility's photos. If I look back at some of the best units I have ever bought, they've actually been the cheapest units online because I've got people, they're not like us. They don't know how to take fit pictures. One gentleman is almost 80 years old and he takes the world's crappiest photos, and it works in my favor because people never click on it. So always look at the cheap units first too. All right. So one thing I'm going to ask with the audience here is, what do you guys think about this unit here, right? What screams, about this unit, particularly what I like about this unit?
It looks like they took some time packing. It looks like it's shrink wrapped and kind of organized.
Yes, Adam, so you're a professional already, my man.
Yeah.
Shrink wrap. You want to see if they took care of their items. That's the first thing for me, right? So one of the first things I'll look at is, did they take care of their items? Here, yes, they shrink wrapped and everything looks good. They're taking care of their items. Second thing is what type of items are in here? If you're an online seller only, this may not be the unit for you, because what do you see, Adam? A lot of big bulky stuff, right?
Right.
So if
you don't do local sales, it might not pay you to get involved with that unit.
Yeah. Yes. I still do local sales.
Now I'm not doing any local sales right now. Believe me.
No.
Unless they're porch pickups.
I do both, right? Not now. I'm just saying in normal circumstances. So if you're an online seller, this would be perfect for me. I would take a gamble on this unit because I have a warehouse, right? I can put this big bulky stuff here. So that's one thing. Another thing that screams this is it possibly is a business, right?
Okay. What makes you think that?
Well, one, more than often than not, this is an outdoor unit, you can tell, and more businesses use outdoor units because it's easy access. That's one thing, right?
Okay.
Two, you see that this is a pretty big printer over here.
Okay.
Faxer, copier. Who has that for their personal house, right?
No one.
Now this could be a mix of both business and personal. That's common, but this kind of screams a possible mix business and personal based on that, that aspect. Also, too, the bid may not go too high because a lot of people don't have the availability to house this amount of bulky items, and that tends to drop the price a little bit, right? But what you need to understand is there's still 5 days left. The bid is probably going to go a lot higher than this. It is a big unit, so it's a lot of stuff. It's bulky. You not only need to pay for the unit, but also the tax and
I was just going to ask that. The commission and whatever they call that. Typically it's 10%. Is that correct?
Well, it's actually 15% unless
15%.
Yeah, it's 15% unless you pay $10 a month to Storage Treasures, like a monthly membership. Then
you're anticipating a lot of my questions. I wrote that down.
Yeah.
Before I forget to ask you, does it pay? I guess you're going to do any kind of volume. It pays you, like with eBay, to have a store. It pays you to pay that premium. It wasn't too much, right? What was it like?
It's not too much. It's 15% or 10% if you're buying the.
What was the fee? Well, it wasn't high. It was like $25, $50.
No, it's $10 a month.
Oh, a month, $10 a month.
Yes.
Okay, and there's no like prepay for a year discount.
No.
Okay.
There could be. I pay $10 a month.
Okay.
So maybe there is.
Okay, so that reduces your rate by 5%, and you do have to pay sales tax on the unit.
Yes.
All right, you have to leave a clean out deposit, I believe, as well.
You do. Some facilities, after you purchase a lot of units, will not require that because they know you're going to clean it out.
Well, typically, that has to be in cash, right?
Yes.
And what typically is the clean out fee? Does it vary a lot?
The common one is $100. This unit is requiring $200, and sometimes when the units are big, they require more. Remember, the deposit's not. Storage Treasures doesn't set the deposit amount. The facility is setting it.
Correct.
So they may set a really small deposit if it's a smaller unit, and a bigger deposit if it's a bigger unit. So one thing that you guys need to take consideration too, and it's one thing that I almost missed up on this last unit, is when you're looking at Storage Treasures and you see this facility going up or this unit going up for auction, you need to scroll down because all these other ones are going up at that same facility. Now,
they list that right on that same listing. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Storage auctions at this facility. So
gotcha.
One thing that you've got to understand is you look at this and it's shrink wrapped and beautiful. You scroll down and you see another unit that could be owned by the same person.
Okay.
Because the way that they pack their items, they really cared about it. They shrink wrapped it, right?
Okay.
With the plastic. So one thing that you need to do is it doesn't show up on this facility if it's owned by the same person. You need to call them and they will let you know, say you're interested in this unit. is this unit down here owned by the same person? Because you want to grab the same, if it's a good unit, you want to grab all the units owned by that person, and they will let you know. So that way, when you're bidding, you know, okay, I need to win both units, not just the one, because you don't want to get half the stuff and not the other half, right?
Right.
So it's important if you see like units. Another thing that you can look for is if this unit has certain type of boxes and this unit has the same type of boxes, then you know possibly it's by the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay. All right. So this, we'll do one more zip code lookup.
Let's try Crystal Rosie's Closet 89122.
As for the units that are going up there, clothing, since we look up your zip code, I don't see anything really good for local auctions in particular.
Okay.
But there may be something in the future. You guys remember, you always want to keep an eye out for sourcing opportunities, not just with thrift stores, because look at this. Who would have seen this thing happen, right? So you need different avenues to be able to source your products so you don't go out of business and you have inventory to list.
Right. Let's try another one. So basically saying there are no local units available right now in her area.
No, this Las Vegas area, there is. So this one intrigues me real quick.
Okay.
So okay. Here. Okay.
Whoa. What kind of boxes are they?
Oh, wow. These are fan and lights.
Oh,
but
wow.
Did they work for a company and just use those boxes, or
could have been like an electrician or something, possibly?
Could be. This is definitely a business.
Could be tools. Could possibly.
Well, I see a lot of these. I would imagine they're in there just by just how many there is. And another thing, but you can see that one's been open. That one's been open. So that worries me a little bit that there may be paperwork in there. This is a really kind of interesting unit. It's going for $20, 3 days.
$20 in 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, try to snipe that.
Yeah.
They had like a soft closing on these units. If you bid at the last minute,
they do. Yes. And this is something I had lunch with two people under the CEO at the time at eBay Open. We had a special lunch, or it was actually a dinner, excuse me. And I sat with them and I told them that they need to offer soft closes to eBay. This will allow items not to be sniped. It will allow the availability to purchase items where sellers would want to do auctions, because right now they don't, because buyers know they can snipe at the last second.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. I know we had a couple new sellers. Snipe me is basically like you're waiting to pounce at the very last minute. You put your bid in and you try to beat all the other people and get it in right underneath of the wire. So that's what sniping is.
Yes.
And a soft close. Why don't you explain a soft close to the people?
Yeah, soft close basically is anything. Now it could be different timing for whatever website or company you're with, but basically the last 3 minutes, if there is a bid, it adds another 3 minutes, allowing there to be competitive bidding. So if you want to buy the unit, you're going to spend money. The same thing with eBay. If you want that item, the bidding could go for 2 hours as long as there's a bid every single 3 minutes at the last 3 minutes. So that's why a soft close needs to be added to eBay. It will allow a lot more buyers to sell a phone. If this phone you want to sell for $100, but somebody grabs it at the last second for 50, they couldn't do that with soft close because it would add more time. So people are really interested in this. It would go to the value of whatever you're selling.
There's a quick question in the chat from Amishit Flipper. He says, private sell. Would that mean anything?
Yeah, so there's so many different ways that you can sell. A lot of people don't realize this, right? And we'll take a step back. There's multiple ways units can go up for auction. The common one is a lien unit, where somebody loses it because they passed away, they couldn't pay their bill, they go incarcerated and they couldn't pay their bill, or they just simply couldn't pay their bill, right? There's a lot of ways you can lose it with that. There's also manager specials, right? Which is basically the facility themselves that owns the facility. This can happen many ways. Maybe auctions don't sell, so they put all the auctions that don't sell into one unit and they label it a manager special, meaning they have been in that unit. They have seen the stuff in the unit, because legally they're not supposed to with the lien unit, but with manager special, they can go in that unit and they put everything in there as long as they classify it as a manager special. I recommend, now at the top, it'll always tell you which type of unit you're buying. I highly recommend you never buy a manager special unit at the very beginning, because the reason we do this is a treasure hunt. And manager special units, they've been through that stuff and they've probably seen what's in there. So there's not that possibility of finding gold, silver, or good stuff, right? And then there's also private seller, which A lot of people ding private sellers, but I believe it's you can actually get some great units with private sellers, because what happens is a lot of people, they'll leave the state and they don't want to go back to the unit, and they will actually allow storage treasures or the local facility to auction off their stuff as long as they're good on their bill. So there's private sellers as well. But the most common one, guys, is lien unit. The
lien unit is where the basically the storage facility is taking back the unit for non-payment.
Yes. Now, Rosie, this is a unit that I would buy. Let me tell you why I would take a gamble on this. I would buy all this stuff and sell it to an electrician or another business. This is a business. Yes, it's a possibility that the stuff's not in there, but it makes a little, you want to take what they put, the facility, with a grain of salt, but it looks like here that they know that the stuff is in there based on what they see, right? 44 boxes of lights, fans. Yes, it's a possibility that they're empty boxes, but I would take a gamble on this for like up to $300 or $400.
Now, let me interrupt you for 1 second here. Again, the wheels are turning.
Yeah.
I think you had mentioned this before. You typically get 30-day free rental. So is that a unit that if a storage unit buyer wants to say, guys, I'd like to buy this unit, but it's a lot of boxes, I need to get it out of here.
Yeah.
Can I rent this unit? Will they typically give you 30 days and you could pay like another month's rent or whatever?
It really depends on the facility. Yes, they typically give you 72 hours to get it out, but this wouldn't take very long. She can probably do it on a few loads, right? And it's easy because it's all boxes. But yes, you can. I don't recommend necessarily that if you had to, yes, do it. If you buy a couple of units, you just ask the facility manager, and a lot of times they'll give you an extra few days, like a week.
Could they cut you a deal and say, all right, I'll give you an extra week or 2 weeks,
Yeah, absolutely.
$50 or something, or
yeah, absolutely. And that's where you need to build that relationship. So
right.
That
That's a great tip. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, you talk to them, they'll give you more time. Now, if you need a month, they won't give you that. You probably could rent the unit. I don't recommend you do that though, because it eats into your profit.
Gotcha.
So when you buy a unit, you need to be serious and get that crap out of there. So that way you're not spending money on rent, right? And
Nope.
also you keep them happy because you get the facility out of there. Rosie, this is a great unit. Everything else though, I'm not seeing much. Remember, a lot of these facilities are shut down, so they're not taking pictures of these units. So there may be a lot of storage units that are in delinquent status, but they're not doing anything. So I think in the next month to 2 months, you're going to see a huge amount of units go up for auction.
Yeah, you would think like towards the end of May, it would be just insane, right?
Insane, guys. So a lot of businesses, a lot of personal. It's sad, but it's true. You're going to see hundreds of units in your areas go up for auction in a few months. Wow. What the heck is going on here, right? This is incredible.
Another business unit.
This is another business unit. Yeah. Ooh, look at that one. Now,
that's wine. You know what store wine? I hope that's indoors.
Yeah, this is actually a manager special, right?
Okay.
This is exactly what we were talking about. Non-lean unit manager special. This potentially was a business unit, obviously.
It's a liquor store or wine.
Yeah. Yeah. And
there's beer in there and everything, right?
Yeah, and I'm a little bit hesitant here because restaurant equipment, furniture, blah 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 blah. I would buy this unit just for a YouTube video. And Adam, I'm going to bring that to my last point here. When you're doing YouTube, give me 1 second. Let me answer the door, Adam. Hey, are you here for the cabinet? I am. Okay, cool.
All right, man's always working. He's making an on-site deal.
Yes, Adam, I got a local cell here. Can you give me 1 second?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Guys, why don't you put your last, again, we're pushing an hour, and I try to keep my guests to 1 hour. Again, if there are any last second questions, let me put myself on the screen here. That would help, right? Talking to you, and I'm not even showing my face. If you want to ask any last minute questions of Wade, like I said, while he handles his business, I mean, man's always hustling. If you have any additional questions, why don't you put them in the chat? You want that unit, stockpile alcohol? Well, that's the other thing too, Crystal. Again, if it wasn't, again, I was in that business, I've told you before, for over 30 years. Especially if it wasn't an indoor unit, you don't even know how that product was stored. It could be all bad. I mean, liquor obviously doesn't go bad. It can evaporate, but the wine could be all bad. Again, guys, I told you to bring your questions. I know there were a few questions in the chat, but I don't have the opportunity to have Wade on my channel every day. Hopefully, once or twice a year, maybe I'll have him on, another 6-8 months. But again, just to remind you, I'm going to speak to Wade when he gets back on. I'll have him send me that link. I think he said it was $35 ish for the course. A great course for $35. And again, if you're into YouTube, you want to make a little video and help Wade help you grow your channel. It's really difficult to grow your channels, guys. Speaking from experience, it's really difficult. Use the hand sanitizer. Well, that's the other thing too. I used to sell a brand of vodka called Tito's Vodka. It's basically was a hand distilled vodka out of Austin, Texas, and it's kind of odd that the owner of the company his name is Tito Beverage, but it's not spelled like beverage. It's like there's an L in it. He says, "Please don't use my alcohol, my vodka for hand sanitizer." I would care, you know. You want to use my I don't even know what Tito's goes for these days, but you want to use my vodka for hand sanitizer? Go for it. Hello, Melissa. We're just waiting for Wade. He actually has somebing picking up something at his warehouse on site, and he'll be right back. It looks like he's back now.
Yeah, I mean, $40 sold something from a storage unit. So
there you go.
All right, guys. So again, obviously this looks like it's okay. Private seller casino surplus. My last thing, Adam, this is really important. So if you're looking to get in storage units, it's really important that you're on YouTube. Okay. So let me give you an example. I've got 3 videos that are over 1 million views. Okay. One that's like 20,000 views before it hits 1 million, but we'll just say it's 1 million. So 3 videos of mine went over 1 million views. And Adam, one of those videos netted me $14,000.
That's
one
insane.
video, right? So the reason I bring that up is if I'm on YouTube and you're not, and we're bidding on the same unit, and let's just say there's 2 units, the same stuff. You spend $300 and I spend $300. Who's going to win? I'm going to win because
you're going to make more than $300 on your video.
Yes. Unit. So Adam, what it allows you to do is allows you to take on more risk. So
Absolutely.
That $300 unit, if it would have went $600 at auction, I'm more apt to buy that than you because I know the YouTube revenue will take care of part of the unit.
Yeah, you might be $300 out of pocket, the other person $600 out of pocket.
Yes. Okay. So this would make one hell of a YouTube video.
Let me pop that.
Okay. When you're buying units, you as a YouTuber, you've also got to understand what units are good for video and what units possibly are not good for videos, and take that in consideration. This would be a great YouTube video unit.
That's definitely. I mean, I see the stool. That's definitely a liquor store or some kind of little corner liquor shop.
I would buy this, Adam.
When I was in the business for 30 years, I mean, I can tell. Everybody else can tell also, but
yeah, I would buy this. Now, it worries me a little bit because some facilities, they're not supposed to sell alcohol. Yeah, you find alcohol in units, but technically you're not.
Right, you're not allowed to resell because it's governed, right?
Yeah, so that's interesting.
That's a lot of.
I've actually never.
I'm sure there are people that make side deals, which you're not supposed to. But.
No, 4.3% alcohol. I've never seen a unit, a facility actually sell alcohol like this. So this is a first for me.
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it?
And look at these. Oh my God.
Kegs. The kegs don't have that long a shelf life. They're shot. Well, you can get your money back for the deposit.
I will buy the
deposit.
Yeah, I will. Yeah,
I will make your money back on a keg deposit. If there's 10 kegs in there, I don't even know what deposits are now. They're probably $15, $20 a keg deposit.
I would buy the kegs.
That's you can take that right off the top.
Rosie, let's buy this together.
Let's do this, Crystal. Crystal is Rosie, and Rosie is Crystal.
Yes. Can we buy this together? We'll buy this together, okay?
Wait, I'll front you half the money.
Yeah, I'll front you the money. You go pick it up.
You can fly to Vegas. You can go to the sports book and.
Yes.
Oh, there's not many flights recently, so.
No. But I may even walk to Vegas for this. I don't know. We'll see.
Go walk to Vegas.
Anyway, guys, storage units is beautiful. I'll go back. Okay. Yep. Can you make a living buying storage units and selling on eBay? Yes. If you put me up against any of the best thrifters, okay, I'm talking like Vogue Square, people that do this for a living, right? Amazing people. I will beat them every single time. There's no thrifter out there that I believe that can thrift better than I can buy storage units, just because the sheer volume of stuff that you get and the price you pay. Now, prices are different around the country. California is more expensive than Oregon. Florida is more expensive than some areas. But you put me up against any thrifter, and I will beat them 9 times out of 10. And so that's why I love storage units, because you're getting sheer volume. And when you get the really good units, you're getting a lot of good stuff that are the kind of the same stuff. Like they collect something, and you're getting a lot of that something that's really expensive. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. And I think that everybody should experience it at least once. And if you're looking to start a YouTube channel up, make sure that you buy the unit, you film it. As long as you're part of our course community, give me the footage via Google Docs. I'll put it on there, and I'll put it on my channel and give you 300 or 400 people to kind of get you boost on YouTube.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it again. You have the links. I have all your links in the description below. But if you can send, I mean, I can copy and paste it from your video, or you can send me directly the link.
Sure.
And I'll put it in the description of this video. And then people, I mean, I'll stay on the same page, make it easier if they want.
Yeah.
They can just click on it and then buy your course.
Melissa, what an intoxicating.
I love that. She's got a great sense of humor. I love that comment.
If I was in Vegas right now, I'd be bidding on that unit, and I'd probably spend $300 or $400 just for the hell of it.
Right. Okay, guys. Again, value my guest times, and again, hopefully, maybe not in the near future, but maybe in the distant future, we'll have Wade on again. Again, I know his time is very valuable, especially with what things that are going on these days. I would like to thank him for being here, guys, and I'm going to list the link. He'll send me the link to his course. And believe me, probably just the accounting information alone is worth $35. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I had, to give you an idea, I had Not Your Dad's CPA do 6 videos on taxes. And then I had...
you even had local sales. You're a buddy about local sales.
Night Required Field.
Night Required Field.
30-minute video on local selling. And then I had a British Posher who is amazing. She did a 30-minute tutorial on Poshmark. And then I also had Chris on there, did eBay. I had Shane on there, do Amazon. He did a 30-minute video on Amazon.
Great.
And then I had, just everything, how to rent trucks, discounts, reselling, social media. I had Creator Fundamentals guys. He's friends with Daryl Eves and Think Media and all of them. He did a three video series. One he did on what software to use that's free and also paid to edit your YouTube videos on social media.
I found him his wife. What's his first name? I forget his first name.
Dan, Creator Fundamentals. Yeah.
Oh, Dan. Okay.
Yeah. So all that alone is worth $30.
I was going to Dan's conference and it was canceled.
Yeah.
It was in Albany. Got canceled.
He actually did a video, sent me the video, part of the course. Yeah. It's it's great. And then the reason I did that and I brought other people in is because I wanted people to hear different aspects of I want people when they buy it to learn not just storage units, but also the whole business, right? For $34. So that's kind of the idea. And that's why I introduced what I considered some of the best people in the different categories.
You had a brain freeze there. I should know who Dan is.
He's really cool. He has got a few YouTube channels, but one of them is Creator Fundamentals. He teaches.
Yeah, I like I said, and some great speakers he was having. I'm really disappointed, but hey, I understand. So what he's doing, he's actually going to do a teleconference.
Yeah,
and then he's going to the ticket will be for next year. So
yeah.
Okay, guys. Again, I know Wade's time is valuable, and I'm going to give you the typical YouTube closing. Please like, share, subscribe. If you're new to my channel, if you came over from Wade's channel, I'd appreciate the subscription. I have a lot of really neat interviews on my channel. You can actually click the playlist. I'm trying to get my hours up. I've had Casey the Rockstar Flipper. I've had Katie and Vicky. I've had Wade. I've had Shane. I've had Kimmy was in my chat. I have Rosie was in my chat. Some big time resellers. Some really neat people. Very knowledgeable. I had Chris. Chris changed his name now. It's the eBay something or other. A really knowledgeable guy about collectibles. So really neat stuff. So again, like, subscribe, share, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so. And I'm going to let Mr. Wade get out of here. Thanks for being here, everyone. Take care now.
Thanks, Rosie.